So be sure to get your donations in throughout, not just today, but the entire event, because today isn't the only day of Speedromizer 6. This is only day 1. We still have more days this weekend and an entire second weekend to get through as well. So be sure to get your donations in whenever you're able to, whether that is right now or later in the event. But alright, and I hope everybody's ready for some more Spyro action, because we are ready to move on to the next run, Spyro Shadow Legacy by Shookie. Coming up right now, so feel free to take it away.
Hello everyone, I am Shookie. I'll be running the third Spyro game of today, and joined with me is Corey.
Hello, I'm Corey. I'm the current record holder for this game.
And Corey has taught me a lot about the game, and time will begin as soon as we start this new file here in 3, 2, 1. And so to start off here, we will immediately begin with one of our infinite jumps, or chain jumps. And Corey, I'd let you explain that.
So, this game has a major glitch in it that allows you to jump an infinite number of times as long as you can chain these frame-perfect inputs. You have to dash and then jump the frame right after, and then do that repeatedly. And that gets used all over the place during this run. So right now we only have one normal jump. There are upgrades for double jumps and whatever, but we don't need those, right?
And as we start off here, it ends up being a little bit of a little tutorial area. They are going to want us to help everyone here. They want to go off on a trip, I think it is, but we are going to be skipping all of that.
Yeah, we were supposed to talk to Hunter and Bianca and all those old characters, but who needs them? So this is the first obstacle that we have to get over using these infinite jumps. And they can be... the timing on them is a bit tricky.
They patched it. There we go. We got a couple. We'll get some more.
The walls in this game, they tend to be significantly taller than they look like. So this might take around 14 jumps or so. It depends. It also depends how quickly you do the jumps next to each other. You can spam the inputs and hope that that works, but you don't get as much height out of mashing it as you do just doing the timing spaced out. This is a glitch that has been known about for like a year or two due to just somebody who posted it on YouTube, and it hadn't been used in a run until just earlier this year when I started running this game.
I'm hoping once I get warmed up here, these will be a lot easier. The hardest part about this run overall is that there are a couple soft lock opportunities. And we think that they might be connected to the save game state, even if it's a save game that you're not currently played on. So I was a little wary of booting up the game until right now when I've started this up here. Real quick for good luck. Also, here's my helper for today. We're going to move this old man. Hopefully these infinite jumps will come out a little bit easier.
Yeah. The game also does suffer from lag in a couple places in it, which can be a bit of an obstacle to getting these jumps consistent. but it is still possible to do these.
It's definitely possible. I'm having a really hard time right now.
It is not too much slower to just do the normal intended here, but I don't know. That does change the routing a little bit.
Yeah, we get a little bit extra experience. I'm not familiar with it very well.
Yeah. The biggest difference would be not getting the teleporter.
Getting close. We're warming up. We're cooking with gas. No cooked purple dragons. Just perfect temperature purple dragons.
Yeah. Full of fire. Wait.
Thankfully, this is one of the hardest ones as well. These gates are really, really tall.
It's yeah, but one of the hardest ones at the start of the run. So this is a pretty big reset point. It looks like we're over. There we go. Nice.
Picking up the teleporter and we leave.
So this area, we're not supposed to be here for quite a while yet, but there is a trigger here that puts us into the Shadow World, which is the main gimmick of this game. There is a normal world and a Shadow World with these creatures. But we can't actually hurt these creatures yet, so instead of doing that, we're just going to quit the game and reload the save file to get out of there. Now, the game has some level of autosave, but doesn't save everything, so thankfully it just puts us back out, but still in the Shadow World. And that lets us go right into the next area, without having to do all the stuff in the tutorial, in the Dragon Shores.
Thankfully, it does end up saving, like even with what I did, it probably still saved a minute or two.
Now, the thing that we have to... Right, sorry. We just gotta wait for this dragon, Tomas, to go into the dojo so we can go in as well.
Oh, we got some cutscenes here. Moss is telling us that the other dragons are trapped, but he cannot save them. For whatever reason, their powers do not work in the Shadow Realm, but Spyro, his powers do work.
Yeah. It's convenient that he showed up then.
Huh?
As we know, there is nothing more magical than a purple dragon.
What about 2 purple dragons?
Mashing a little bit before the cutscene started. We've got an interesting, okay.
Yeah. That's fine.
Have not seen that before. I'm going to leave the Shadow Realm and before I walk out, just in case something really crazy happens.
Need to be in the normal world to get through the cave anyways.
Yeah, very true. Would have had to come back.
So the current objective is finding all these other dragons and rescuing them. And this is required. We have to go and save all of them. Most of this game can be skipped, though. There's 10 areas in this game that you have to rescue a bunch of creatures in normally, but we can skip pretty much all of them.
The main progression in this game is each of the towns or areas or hubs, they give you a medallion or a talisman, I think it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And once you have that, that allows you to unlock the boss towers that we have to go to. However, we will be entering those early.
Mm-hmm. Now, for some reason, you can go through wooden doors in the Shadow World. I'm not sure why that is how it is, and why it doesn't apply to wooden floors, but if it works, it works.
And also only some wooden doors.
Yeah. Tis an interesting. Anyways, these are long legs. They are the first kind of enemies that we have to deal with in the Shadow World. And we need specific attacks taught to us by Sensei up there in order to attack Shadow World enemies.
Notably, breath attacks do not do anything in the Shadow Realm.
Yeah, breath attacks and charge attacks are useless against Shadow enemies.
Now that we have saved Sensei and we've got the tools that we need to save the rest of the Dragon Dojo members, we will be heading back to the town to save them.
Mm-hmm. And the routing around the Dragon Dojo is a bit interesting. That you can use infinite jumps to get over to certain areas a bit quicker than you would normally be able to walk. And hopefully we'll get to see a bit of that. Well, you actually found ways to do without infinite jumps. I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah, we'll see if I get it. It does usually take longer.
Yeah.
Something that we've noticed that we don't quite understand too is it seems like there's some spots where you can stand on water and even on lava. I'm not sure if it's just geometry that's pointing out weird, but I think for sure a big portion is there's not enough eyes on the game. And so if you like Spyro games, I think this one is fairly accessible. Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Wrong way.
Accessible?
Yeah, the game emulates pretty well. It's
Mhm.
also not too difficult to get into. The infinite jumps, you can choose which ones you want to do. And that first one is really hard, but I think it's still worth trying to pull off, because at the very end of the day, you're still getting better at them.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of the major skips are dependent on those. Unfortunately. It's still possible. I believe it's possible to get under 120 without using the infinite jumps, but I've yet to prove that. I'd just be using another way to skip into one of the bosses. Anyways, we have to save 4 dragons around here. This is the second one we're saving. And just a moment ago you saw Shookie jump down to there from above. That's a bit of a precise jump. So yeah.
I found where you can kind of line up and you end up being able to jump over on... I mean, the biggest enemy in a lot of speed games end up being the camera, or your perception of where you are in the stage.
Mm-hmm.
And due to the way the 3D graphics are, it's kind of hard to tell where you are.
Yeah, depth perception is not entirely there. There's also, this game, it looks like a top-down 2D game, but there is actual 3D elements. Like, enemies can be on top of tables or like on different ledges and stuff, and they don't target you if they're on a different level.
I'll be able to show off a little bit of how the enemy targeting and the different levels, like the Z levels, even when it looks like it should just be a very small step on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Be able to show that off in the XP grinding spot.
Whoops.
Luckily, dying in this game almost always is very inconsequential. It just puts you back at the start of the room exactly how you entered it.
And the unfortunate thing is that you don't restore your health. You end up wherever you were when you entered the room.
You do have one butterfly right now you could use to restore health, but just being level 1 right now, we don't have much health to start with.
And
then,
unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how well it goes, I try to line them up, and so that way I can defeat them in the least amount of hits. Doesn't always work, as you see.
but when it works, it's great. Alright, that's the last of the dragons that we need to rescue around this area, so now we get to go talk and do more lore stuff.
Oh, wait, they said there were one more left. Did I miss somebody?
Did you not finish talking to someone? Or...
Never had this happen before. Because it should
just
take
enter
me
it
out
and
of the
check.
Shadow Realm, right?
Yeah, did you not go talk to this guy up here? Or...
Yeah, let's check this. Nope, they're gone.
You should step in the dojo and see if it did get them all or not. I thought you went and got them all. Weird. Did not get the...
Yeah, it is very strange. Let's see, who, I got both houses.
Yeah. Would you...
I got the person on the platform. Let me...
Do you talk to the person in the left house afterwards?
Yeah, probably not. Let's go double check that. Nope, they're
What?
gone. This is crazy. Oh, maybe... No, they would still be there in the Shadow Realm, right?
Yeah. I don't... I've not seen this.
I haven't either. I would have sworn. Anybody in chat? How many dragons did I save?
I swear you got them all, I just...
It may very well be... I mean, this game keeps surprising us in the ways that,
Yeah. It sometimes seems like the game doesn't want to be played.
Aha!
Oh, it's you! Ah. Okay, glad that it was just that, and not the game deciding to hardlock. It's surprisingly easy to accidentally hardlock in this game. Just even on a normal playthrough without using glitches, on my first playthrough, I got about 2/3 through the game and couldn't progress anymore.
So now we've actually saved all the dragons and talked to them after we've saved them.
Mm-hmm.
We can now progress the story a bit more.
They're trying to figure out who is responsible for the Shadow World and everything, and they're blaming... They're trying to blame a bunch of different people, but mainly blaming an elder named Red, who is no longer here. He's off somewhere else.
Thankfully, we don't have long to figure out for sure who or what the problem is here.
Mm-hmm. Just saw a couple characters like the fairies and the moneybags and his family, but we aren't going to see them again. We're just going to leave them in the Shadow World. Alright. Next thing we need to do is we need to get to level 2 in order to get a couple spells, or it's just the one spell, right? And double jump, right?
Yes, we want to get teleport and also not forget to get double jump as we walk out.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to group these guys up, and as you can see, they all will respond to me when I move to the lower level, but when I get to the top level, only some of them will. whichever ones are closer.
Mm-hmm. Every time you level up, you're allowed to unlock 2 new skills at the dojo, and because of that, we need to get to a minimum level of level 4 in order to beat the game. So there are a couple skills that are required to beat the game. There used to be a lot more. This game's gone through a lot of rerouting as there have been more skips found.
I think originally it was level 6 and then it went down to 4, but I think it's possible maybe to...
It's not possible to go lower than 4 because the only way to damage red was the shock spell, so...
Oh right, as it was tried with...
You can get there.
ability.
You can get there with like level 2, but...
Another interesting thing about the combat in this game is that Spyro will kind of auto-lock onto a near target, but not always, and it seems like it resets in an opportune time.
Mm-hmm. You can also... The tail whip attack is a bit interesting. If you stay still, you can spam it and use it quickly in succession, but if you're trying to move, it still takes more time. There we go. So now we can go get teleport and double jump.
Sam, do you have anything that you would like to plug here while I'm running on the way back?
Absolutely. So, here watching Speedromizer 6, I just want to remind everyone that we do have donation incentives and polls open over for the campaign here for QMUNITY. So if you want to, we have several of those open for the rest of this weekend, not just the event as a whole, but they are coming up very quickly. Because we do have 2 polls for tomorrow. We do have a Star Wars Battlefront 2 poll, where you can donate to either ride or kill a Tauntaun. And we also have one for Mirror's Edge to choose the language for the game. Both of those do have a certain option that is winning currently. So if you want, ride is winning by $50. If you want to change that outcome for Star Wars Battlefront 2, you can. And Mirror's Edge French is currently winning, so you can change that outcome as well. And we do also have targets open for the rest of the weekend. So we have one for Subnautica tomorrow, where for every $10, you'll get a fish pun from Tempest. I'm a big pun fan, so I'm definitely interested in what is being cooked up over there. And then we also have one for Sunday as well, where for Rebel Transmute, you can donate and you'll make me, this is for my run actually, but you can get me to get a pet armadillopede. So be sure to get those donations in for all of those polls and donations and more.
Alright. Thank you for that. Since we have the teleport spell now, we can teleport back to the Dragon Village, where now we can work on saving the dragons here. We don't really need to save them, but we do need experience, and the best way to get experience is to save the dragons and do some quests afterwards.
Yep, and we need to pick up this Octopus plush, and I need to make sure I go in here as well. I missed that during my PB. I'm also not in the Shadow Realm.
World Changer in there?
Yeah. Wait, there might actually
be one in there. I think there is one in there. I don't typically use the ones in here. I kind of forget about them. That might actually be worth looking into for routing this area. There's 2 buildings to enter here. There's 2 dragons at the top, and then there's 2 dragons at the bottom of the area. So there's 6 dragons in total.
We'll be saving all the dragons and then doing a few, we do complete all of the areas here, but we won't be picking up the sunglasses or doing any additional eggs.
Mm-hmm.
There are dragon eggs in this game. I think there is only 100 of them.
Well, You can get infinite ones, but there are about 50 unique ones as far as I know.
Okay,
It's
yeah,
not
so-
very well kept track of. This game is... It's not run much at all, so there's not too much information out there. A lot of the information I have is from the Dark Spyro forums.
The Dark
So there's a
Spyro
whole
forums was
walkthrough.
very, very useful in my casual playthrough as well.
Mm-hmm.
But there really isn't a lot of information, I think, about the DS games in general, right? I mean, I only really know about this one now, but there are 4 DS games for Spyro that
Yeah.
use a lot more people looking at them.
The other 3 DS games are part of the Legends of Spyro series, which has a console counterpart for each of those 3 games. So they're related, they're not the same game though, but they have like a similar plot and such. Whereas this is a completely unique game. It's the only DS exclusive Spyro game. Alright.
2 more left to save. I angered the chicken.
Chicken.
I need to go up to the top now.
Yeah. Yeah, shoutouts to Nintendo DS. It is... I'm a fan.
Here we get some of the lag that you can see in the area. It's mostly during the Shadow Realm.
Yeah, if there's too many enemies around and other entities and such, the game, it doesn't really like it. Thankfully, I've never had the game crash on me or anything, knock on wood.
For how strange the game can be at times, it is very stable if you don't count, you know, getting soft locked in certain circumstances.
Yeah. It's stable, but... yeah. Alright, so you've saved all the dragons in the area now. Gotten plenty experience. We need to get to 5,650 experience, right?
5650.
Oh, you didn't...
Yeah, I didn't accept the quest, also didn't turn it in.
Okay. So these give like 200, 300 experience per, which is very convenient. It also gives a crystal, which I think the crystal that it gives is random. Some of the crystals are useful because they increase the damage from your attacks, and that is helpful somewhat on the bosses.
Caitlin here has lost her eggs. She wants us to get 30, but we will not be collecting anymore.
The reward for doing that quest and getting all the eggs is actually a spell. It's a spell that turns you into an egg, and that has some weird interactions. Because it shrinks your hitbox, and the movement with it is strange.
This is very interesting. I have not collected all the eggs. I did see that there was talk about there being 1 egg that you could get as many times as you wanted, seemingly.
Yeah. I got a clip of that somewhere. Alright, so now you're going for getting over the top of this gate. Normally, you would have to get to level 3 and learn a new spell in order to move this gate out of the way, but you could also just jump over the whole gate. I typically don't go for this. I get the level up, but... Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's a really high gate, so that's nice.
Yeah, we're cooking now. We're warmed up. These infinite jumps.
So now we're moving on to the bosses, actually. There's all these areas to the north, south, and east that... Well, we'll dip our toes into this one, but... really just going for the bosses for most of the rest of the run.
And you can see here are some of the people that we should be saving in the area, but we won't be doing any of that. We won't even be learning the spell that's required for damaging any of these enemies.
Yeah, the enemies in later areas require you to use magic attacks or key attacks against them, but you have to be like level 5 in order to learn the first key attack. And we don't want to get to level 5, we're going to beat the game at like level 4. Alright. Coming up is my least favorite part of the run, personally. Normally, you get the ability to glide, and that lets you cross over here. However, we don't have the ability to glide yet, so instead we get to do this.
Yep, this is the... it's probably about the same number of jumps as that first gate. Or... it might be less. It's just a lot harder because, if you get part way through, you fall into the water and then have to run back up here.
There's also... you can approach this from that ledge there or from the south and try to go upwards. I'm not sure what's better. Oh yeah, you can fall in the water and move forward still and break a box, but...
there's some kind of weird behavior with dashing when you like hit the water or up against an object, and if you don't kill the crabs and you end up going south instead of to the right, the crabs can actually, they'll aggro you and make the noise as if they saw you while you're in the water doing that. So
yeah.
it's probably useful for something.
There's a lot of stuff that remains to be explored with this game, I feel. Especially for categories that aren't just any percent. There isn't a 100% category, but I'm not sure how I feel about the rules for it right now. I don't think there are rules written for it. It's just one person who did a run.
And notably, as we said earlier, the glitchless category has been what any percent has been, and up until a few months ago.
Yeah. Just earlier this year, yeah.
Okay, this worked the last time. We will disrupt the kitty who keeps returning.
The world record for this game before using glitches was around 1 hour 40 minutes, and currently it is at under 40 minutes. I think I have a 39 or something. There's still a lot of room for improving that run too. It's just getting these infinite jumps down and doing some of these skips first try is a huge thing to do.
And my PB I think is 50 minutes or so, and I think that it took me like 9 minutes to do this. We're close.
That looks good. Oh.
Just need a little bit more left in there. And one thing I will say is this area is a little quiet, but there's pretty nice little ambiance that this game has. It has good music, it has good ambiance. The music is nice.
It's got a little charm.
I'm very happy to have played this game and to have learned it, because I definitely agree it's a very charming game, despite like a lot of the early like I guess 3D on the DS. You know, they're trying something new.
I feel like a lot of the Spyro games have some level of jank with just like earlier today with what was it, Spyro Year of the Dragon? There was the swim in air glitch, which that kind of reminded me of this, just flying through the air. Just unintentionally. I mean, you would think that being a dragon, he'd be able to fly a bit better, but he's just a young dragon.
Yeah, luckily he does get glide in this game, which does make things a lot better, but we won't see that until we're on our way to completing the game.
Yeah. Normally you get glide before the bosses, we get it after the bosses. And the reason that is because the bosses give a significant amount of experience. The first boss gives 2,000, and the second boss gives 3,000, and that combined is enough to get us to level 4.
Sam, would you like to add anything else?
Sure. We do actually have a $10 donation from EJ to Third.
Oh.
It says, "Best of luck, Shookie. Don't let the run drag on too long." And that was put towards the Minecraft blindfolded any % run.
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing that we had.
It's for next weekend, but it is currently at $110 out of $150, so I think we can easily make that happen by the time that comes around.
That'd be interesting to watch.
No, they're so close.
I was hoping the power of the donation would get you across this body of water.
I'm sorry, I'm starting to drag on.
You're doing great.
The purple dragon power will push through though. And do not worry, all of this is in the estimate.
Yeah.
We still will probably finish within 20 minutes of estimate. Before estimate, assuming this is going to be soon.
Yeah. The estimate was made with not doing so much of these skips in mind. And the estimate was submitted before this was even the route. The route used to be much simpler.
And that does just go to show that it saves a lot of time.
First run that I did with this route, I was...
No!
Oh, come on. That looked like it was it.
Yeah, I landed on that, and another timeline is in the boss area right now.
But yeah, first time that I ran with this route, I was very surprised that it actually saved time, because I was kind of hoping that it wouldn't, just because it is a bit of a pain to do this jump. But it's significant. That's when I went from like a 50-something run to like a 40-something run.
And I think your 50-minute run, you still, like, this split was over 13 minutes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I took just the... I made an edit of one of my runs at some point, and it was just the parts where I was struggling with the infinite jumps, and it was a good amount of the run.
Alright, for good luck, we're going to try from down here one more time. Okay, I got that, but I don't think it's going to matter. Yeah. You can talk to him in midair there, but fortunately doesn't do anything useful for us. We'd use him after we defeat the boss to travel to the next area. He doesn't have anything to tell us right now.
Yeah. We almost certainly have enough gems for that afterwards, right? Oh?
We're really high up.
That looks good.
Okay.
Nice.
Being careful, being careful. I landed, so it should end up taking me back there anyway, but...
So that's the worst part of it. So now we just have to get into the boss tower. Normally you need 2 relics or talismans. Yeah, relics to enter, but we could just enter from the top.
Here we go. Okay, I will be eating a butterfly here.
It's very, very important to avoid dying here. Most of the time in this game, dying is not a problem, but in the boss fights, it can be pretty devastating. So, alright. That should be good. Luckily, the boss fights are pretty simple once you know what to do with them. It's just dodging attacks and then breaking.
Luckily, you can one-cycle both phases as long as you get just enough damage in. The tail swipes while standing still. It gives you just enough time. We got a fast boss fight there, so I'm very happy with that. And most importantly, we didn't die and potentially not be able to get back inside of the boss room.
Yeah. That tower in particular, sometimes the prompt to enter the tower will just disappear forever if you die in that boss fight, or other circumstances with this game. It's not something that I've gotten since starting this route, but it was very annoying to deal with when trying to route this game.
I've definitely seen it happen once, and
So most new areas, they have that cutscene where it shows you all the things in the Shadow Realm. We're doing infinite jumps up the side here to avoid that cutscene trigger. There we go. And then we're breaking a couple boxes along the way in order to get some crystals that may or may not be helpful.
yeah, we got one of luck. I don't think that does anything. Actually, I think that was a power and a shadow one, so...
Yeah. I forget what they all do. Some of them, like, reduce damage from falling in water, so some of them are a lot more useful than others. Anyways, those rocks have very low hitboxes compared to most obstacles, so it's pretty easy to get over those. And we're just making a beeline straight for the second boss. There's no need to no need to do anything in the second world here.
And there are a bunch of people trapped here, but we're just gonna go straight through, and it counts them as freed as soon as we get out of here.
Nice. So to get up there, normally you need one of the NPCs to help you, but you can also just walk around, and it works for some reason. There's no reason for it to work like that, but it does.
This is another one of those areas where I've jumped on. Like, I've made this jump before, and I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to be able to without having glider going around.
This is second boss tower. Do pretty much the same thing as the other one. There's the collision in this game is weird. There's like multiple layers of walls, and if you get in between them, you can interact with the enter prompt. That was pretty quick.
We're warmed up. These infinite jumps are cooking. And looking back, I don't know if going in cold was the play here. I really didn't want us to soft lock and have something like that, but either way, we're doing very good. Hopefully we get the same one cycle as last time. So far, so good.
This guy is a bit more difficult because he's got that big whip attack that you can dodge by just going off to the side. Like, he's a little bit more difficult, but not that much.
It's really hard to gauge where you need to damage him with his mace as well.
Yeah. The hitboxes are not always clear. And there's multiple hitboxes on this guy, too. You can attack his hand, or you can attack the end of his mace.
Okay, boss fight 2 is down.
One of the moderators for the game was saying good luck in chat.
Dylan J. Fox, thank you for the good luck.
Yeah. Alright. So now that we're level 4, we have to backtrack and get those upgrades that we were supposed to have already.
it was kind of... Oops, I need to press the button to leave. You don't need to press a button to go up, but... So we'll be teleporting a couple times. In this game as well, you can... As well as learning skills, new skills, you can learn general magic upgrades. Which will let you teleport farther. You will get part of the way back, and then come over here, collect some of the mushrooms in the southern forest here, which is kind of like a Lost Woods type deal, but we have no reason to spend any time here or to make our way through it.
Yeah, other than the free mushrooms. The mushrooms restore your magic meter, and we really need to budget the magic meter for the way back. We are allowed 1 teleport spell and 2 shock spells, and then we have a mushroom that lets us use 1 more spell. So we only get 4 spells.
And it is exactly enough.
So that's another reason that you can't beat this game in under 4th level. You need 4th level for the shock spell, but you also need it so you have enough magic.
And so there we learned the move skill, which is used to move that gate that we jumped over.
And then magic power? Oh, glide, right. Glide is so helpful.
It's basically a different game now. Okay, now we've got our general magic upgrade, which means we'll be able to teleport from here to the beach over here again. Or well, I guess it's like the cliff face area, not necessarily the beach. But we will be going back to collect our mushrooms and then heading back to the end.
Yeah. Just gonna go straight towards where the boss is and not really save anyone at all.
Luckily, saving the world does save everyone, just indirectly.
Yeah. I mean, we just get rid of the source. Get rid of the source of the problem instead of dealing with all the symptoms, you know?
Exactly. And I guess it was, the way we use these spells is we have little symbols that we draw. I think probably my favorite game that does this is, like some of the Phantom Hourglass or the Zelda DS games. I think they made very good use of the touchscreen. So, again, shout out to the Nintendo DS.
Yeah. How's doing the infinite jumps on emulator for that? So on console it can get a bit painful at times.
I don't think it's too bad. I actually feel like sometimes when it's laggy, it's easier to do them.
And I guess you can choose what you bind them to, so...
Oh yeah, I use a, I'm currently using a PS5 controller. The D-pad, and so I have my L and R buttons, and I have the buttons, like the face buttons, mapped as if they were on a actual DS. The D-pad is a little... But I found it easier than... Oh, really close. Just need a couple here. And as Corey was telling me, I was bumping my head against the wall, which meant that I couldn't dash.
You can also
which
just
meant...
glide from the steps on the below.
Okay.
But that works too.
I just had to know that there was an alternative. It allowed me to complete it.
Alright, so we're heading to the, what is it, Lost Fleet or Bunny Bayou? It's one of those two names.
I think they name it like the Forgotten World or something, but it's just where
that's the overall. Just thinking this area specifically, it's full of rabbits.
Okay. And this is one of the areas of the game where the professor does tell you that the only way you can get back here is using teleport. But our teleport isn't actually high enough level to get back.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't get that, you can also just soft lock yourself even if you do have the power.
Yeah. If you don't activate the teleporter here and you go back to the other place, there's no saving you. The save file's ruined. I found that out the hard way. Alright. So here we have to jump up to an invisible platform and then jump up over a second invisible wall, and it works. The geometry around there is very confusing, but it works.
Once you kind of, like, I think you jump up on top of the wall that is the, like, the barricade that prevents you, and then you have to jump over, I guess, whatever overarching wall from the trees, and then it just lets, and the loading zone is thankfully that whole northern area.
I used to think that it wasn't going to be possible to skip that area, but somehow it was, so that was nice. Now, none of these enemies, we can't attack these enemies at all. They're all shielded from us because we don't have the right attacks or spells. But that's okay, we don't need a fight. So, normally you have to save everyone here and then find a bunch of items to dig through those rocks, but we could just fly over them and meet Red here. Now, gotta move forward first. There we go.
Yeah, you have to make sure he's activated, otherwise if you try to use it, it will not hit him.
And if you use those shock spells too quickly, it won't count one of them, so it's... Ooh. But we got it.
Yeah, and that was the last place of the run that I was very worried about, because it is where you can just soft lock. But we've learned now that the sorcerer had Red under his control, and at some point he was able to escape that, and now Red is teaching us a spell that we'll need to defeat the final boss, and also Bianca here will tell us where the final boss is.
So we get to use our last teleport spell. We have just enough magic to do that.
And the only way to get magic, because we can't, is back on Bunny Bayo, you can lure enemies off of the platform and get some, but you know, if you're already that far, you can't go back.
Yeah. There's really no turning back once you leave the volcano area.
And coming up here will be a little bit of an audio warning. It's basically when I touch the ground right here. These guys are all going to...
Yeah, they don't target you when you're in the air, so then they all target you when you fall down. They have to do their little animation. So, we are just skipping all those enemies. Normally you have to spend so much time fighting them, but we could just go here. And this strange creature is gonna ask if we want to join him in his evil.
We do say no, and I guess, I don't know, any Spyro lore enjoyers may know, but it doesn't really tell us anything about the sorcerer at all.
Other than that, he's also a big purple dragon. And there's a couple ways to get into this tower without unlocking it normally, and one of them involves ramming your face into this corner until it does that. I'm not sure why that works, I just know that it does.
I did not get close enough, unfortunately.
And the other way is just using infinite jumps like you did for the other towers. Are we stuck in the wall right now?
Yeah, like all the geometry is very strange, and so we're stuck in between invisible walls right now. There's a certain spot where like the enter wall is separate from the unlock wall. And
Yeah,
we just
there
have
it is.
to get it. Okay, there we go.
Nice. So this boss fight, normally you're supposed to be on one platform separate from the boss and do a whole thing about like moving a platform to the center, but we could just go over to the boss before the boss fight really starts. This is stuff that you found.
I was listening for the banish spell, but yeah, for whatever reason I found out that, you know, because I have to hold the forward button, but it lets you run as soon as the text ends, and you start really high up in the air, I think you found, Corey, and so you can just end up getting all the way over here. And I noticed that the boss will do his magic attack if you're far enough away, and if you stand in this corner, you end up being far enough away. And so ordinarily the boss fight, you have to use the move spell to raise that platform in the center, and then do that while avoiding the magical spells that are being thrown at you and banishing them back and then running over here. But also the boss can make the platform go back away, so this ends up saving probably another 8 minutes or so.
Yeah, it saves a lot of time and a lot of headache, more so.
So what I'm listening for is the dragon does a roar, and then there's a little bit of like magic sounds, and I'll wait just a little bit after hearing that. And thankfully banish doesn't cost any mana, but we do it once, hit him, do it twice, hit him, and then the third time and hit him. And time will be coming up here as soon as the final dialogue is gone. We get to watch the boss explode as well.
Yippee.
And time.
There we go.
GG's.
GG's. And thank you everyone. Definitely took me a little bit to get started there. Hopefully that was alright with you all. I knew that I could still get the infinite jumps and be able to finish much sooner, so I'm happy to have gotten them once we got in progress a little bit there.
Yeah. What's the time on it?
According to the stream, you got a 55:51.
Is that baby?
Nice. I can check. I think it either have a 57 or a 53. I have a 57, so this is a PB by 2 minutes.
In second place.
So like I was saying, we would like more eyes on this game, so if you like Spyro games, then come check it out. Corey was a big help in learning how to do this, and Corey single-handedly found a lot of the like infinite jump possibilities and really took the game, I guess, to the next level as far as the speedrun goes. The infinite jumps, they are pretty hard to get down, but once you get them, it's more of like a rhythm game than it is a frame-perfect trick, I will say. But yeah, if you like Purple Dragon games, I think that you will like this game as well. And I think otherwise that's about all I have to say. So Corey, do you have any shout-outs?
I was not really. I didn't think about that in advance.
Nope, that's perfectly okay. Yeah, thank you everyone. I know the world is a little crazy now. Probably will continue to be crazy, but here in QMUNITY and in QMUNITY, for you British Columbians out there, and for our event, thank you and keep it on, and hope you enjoy Pokemon the trading card game coming up next. Thank you. Bye bye.